So let's have a little listen to what we've got going on. So let me solo the keys for a moment, take off all the plugins I've got on there for now. Let's have a little listen to them bone dry. So a plugin I found really helpful, especially early on when it came to mixing keys, was a plugin from Waves called the CLA Unplugged from the man himself, Chris Lord Alge. Now the reason I use a plugin such as the CLA, because I wanted to run through some of the different presets on the plugin to try and get an understanding and a concept of how experienced engineers would treat and process their keys. And then I can tweak from there depending on the nature of the song. So I found this plugin to be very useful as a great starting point. So let's activate the plugin and run through some of the presets to see what it's doing to our keys. I'm going to play it one more time with the plugin bypassed so you can really hear the difference. Now the first preset is called Start Me Up, and I have to say right from the get-go, this is one of my favorites. Let's have a little listen. Turn on the plugin. And another good one is the Piano Man. Let's have a listen to this. So you can see from the two presets I've used, they're being compressed quite a bit to maintain some consistency in the volume. It's boosting a nice amount of top ends, give it a bit of brightness and to open up the keys. And that will help it cut through the mix. I've got a subtle slap delay and a nice tight reverb, just to put it into a space and to give it some ambience. Now let's leave it on Piano Man for a moment. It's given us a nice starting point to work from, but now we can tweak from there. So let's unsolo the keys and listen to it in context with the rest of the beat. I'm going to go back to the other preset, Start Me Up. Let's have a little listen. Now there's a little bit more reverb on this one, and I like it because it adds a nice little lushness to the tails of the keys. However, I find it just a bit much, so I'm going to just bring the reverb down a touch. I want to boost some of the treble, some of the highs a little bit more, just to really make it poke through the mix there. So I'm just going to bypass the plugin again so you can hear what it was like before. Let's have a little listen. Let's turn it back on. So it's just made it sound a little bit more lush, brought it to life a little bit, added a bit of excitement, because it was sounding a little bit muddy, a little bit dull before. But now they're really starting to take shape and starting to sound a lot more like keys. And the next thing I like to do in the process is a little secret trick of mine, is I like to use the Ozone 8 exciter. So the plugin speaks for itself. It's called an exciter. So it's there to add excitement to the sound, right? But the beautiful thing about this plugin is that it splits the frequency ranges into individual frequency bands. So let me show you what I mean by that. Let's have a little listen. Solo the keys there so we can really hear what's going on. So I've soloed the low band up to 140 Hertz. Let's hear that in action. So we're getting just the lows there. Everything from 140 down. Moving on between 140 and 2K. Next band is between 2 and 10K. And next is 10K and above. So now you get an idea of what this plugin can do. At the top here, on each frequency band, you can add a different type of saturation, from analog, retro, tape, tube, warm, etc. So if I wanted to, between the 2 and 10K range, let's change the saturation type to tape. So let's increase the amount and let's see what it's doing to the sound. Let's really exaggerate it. So what I'm doing there, I'm adding saturation only between the 2 and 10K range, and I'm not saturating the other frequency bands. So this allows us to have more control, zone in on specific frequency bands in the keys, either to give it more brightness, a little bit more sizzle, or to give it a bit more warmth, a little bit more body, whatever you want, you name it, this plugin can do it. So let's play with it in context of the mix. Without any saturation. Let's bring the saturation up. That's a bit too much. Let's go down a bit. I want to bring 10K and above up a touch. Give it a bit of sizzle, a little bit of top end there. Nice little bit of air there. Let's bypass the plugin to hear what it was like before. Let's turn it back on. So we've opened it up a little bit more, added a little bit of sizzle, a little bit of air to the top ends, and it's sounding nice. Let me listen to the low mids here. So I've changed the saturation type to warm, and then I've upped it up to about 8. Let's listen to that in context of the mix. I'm hoping to add a bit more body and a little bit more warmth to the keys here. Let's bypass the plugin. Let's activate the plugin. So now the keys sound rich, they sound warm, they sound like they've got a nice body to it. You can hear each individual key being hit properly. Added a little bit of sizzle and a little bit of crunch to the top end, and we've opened it up lovely. And now they sound a little bit more lively and a little bit more exciting. And we've only used just 2 plugins so far. And another plugin I love to use on keys, pianos, Rhodes, etc. is a little bit of tremolo. Let's play it without. going to exaggerate the depth just so you get a great understanding of what's happening here. So you really must have headphones on for this part, or a set of studio monitors so you can really hear what's going on. So it's almost sort of panning left to right, left to right. Have a listen. So it's adding depth, it's adding movement, it's adding ambience to the keys. Let's turn it down a bit because that was a bit much. So it's just adding that movement to make them dance in the stereo field, just to avoid the piano sounding static and flat and two-dimensional. So again, we bring them to life, we're making them sound exciting. Let's have a listen again. Let's put it in the context with the rest of the mix. I'm going to turn off the plugins. Let's have a listen to what it sounded like before. So they sound lifeless, boring, flat. Let's turn it all back on. So now they're sounding like keys in a modern day song. There you go, folks, and that's one way of how I like to mix my keys, pianos, Rhodes, etc. When you're mixing your next record, give this a little try. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe to join the community so you stay up to date with the latest mixing and production video tutorials. As always, thanks for watching. Peace.